So I recently made a video about Atlus asking me to destroy my copy of Persona Q for the 3DS, which you've probably already seen if you're watching this video, but in case you haven't, I'll leave a link for it in the description and comments. If you don't feel like watching that though, then to make a short story even shorter, I played the game for about 80 hours before it randomly started crashing on me over and over again. And since it never happened in the exact same part, I decided to keep trucking along and try to squeeze past the finish line. However, since the game was far more likely to freeze during cutscenes, I kinda got tired of spending about 30 minutes beating the final boss over and over again, just to earn a chance at eking my way through the ending, which is by far the longest cutscene in the game, meaning that I'd needed a Christmas miracle for the game to not crash for that long. So rather than wasting another minute on this game only for it to just crash on me over and over again, I decided to email Atlus to see if they could help me out. But in order to get a download code for a digital copy so I could finally finish the game, they asked me to send pictures of my cartridge cut in half, which naturally I thought was hilarious, so I decided to make a video on it. And I really wanted to wait for a response before putting the first video on the matter out, but after waiting for about a month, I kinda figured they thought I was lying, so I just went ahead and put the video out anyway. Then after pretty much moving on with my life, I finally got a response back from them, so let's go ahead and see what Atlus had to say. Oh my god, he's using a Mac! Get over it, you dingus. Hello, Cameron. Again, if you haven't seen the original video, that's me. We would like to apologize for the delay with your request over the holiday season. No worries. I mean, I kinda figured that's why the response time might have been taking so long, not to mention the fact that we're in the middle of this whole PBR virus fiasco. Thank you for providing evidence of the destruction of your game card. You know, I gotta say, I really like the verbiage this guy's using. Evidence of the destruction of your game card. I mean, that's not an incorrect way to describe it or anything, but I kinda feel like I'm reading an erotic story written by someone who gets off on destroyed cartridges. Which I'm not shaming Mitchell from Atlus here for if that's his thing, but let's continue on. Though, it was only advised to cut parallel to the visible circuit contacts with scissors. I like how I just couldn't resist taking a little jab at me here. No, I actually like it, it's funny. I mean, I know the way I cut it wasn't what I was told to do, nor was it even the most efficient method or anything like that, but I mean, come on, I was making a YouTube video, I had to ham it up a little bit, you know? We understand it may seem an odd request to destroy your game card, however, doing so ensures the defective game card is not circulated. As previously communicated, it's a solution that's intended to be more of an immediate resolve as our team continue to work from home. Okay, so not to act like a hotshot or anything, but I'm pretty sure they saw the video. I mean, come to think of it, they were responding to me pretty quickly in the beginning, so part of me kind of feels like maybe Mitch really didn't believe me after all and actually wasn't going to send me a download code. And then after my video picked up a little bit of steam, they probably thought, ugh, I guess we gotta send him a download code now so we don't look like the bad guys here. I bet he doesn't even like steak. You know, kind of like how major corporations settle out of court just to avoid lawsuits, just to prevent people from believing the accusations to be true without even attempting to learn the details. Like, just to be clear, I was never mad at Atlus for asking me to destroy the cartridge. I mean, after all, unlike all the destroyed games you'd find in the GameStop dumpster, my copy of Persona Q was legitimately botched, so it's not like I'd ever want to play it again myself or anything like that. And honestly, I think it's great that Atlus would want to prevent scumbags from trying to resell the broken cartridge to other people. Not to mention that those unsuspecting people would have probably emailed Atlus about the same thing eventually after they put dozens of hours into the game themselves and desperately wanted to find a way to finish it and not flush all that time down the toilet. Sure, as someone who prefers physical over digital, I definitely would have rather they sent me a new cartridge, but had I sent the broken cartridge in, they probably would have just destroyed it themselves anyway. And also, like, the game's from friggin' 2014, so I doubt they'd have any extra copies lying around their offices even if we weren't in the middle of a global pandemic, you know? You know, this whole ordeal's kind of like a Larry David situation from Curb Your Enthusiasm, where Atlus comes off as socially unacceptable for suggesting something so outlandish, but when you really think about it, they aren't really being unreasonable here.
Oh, good?
So honestly, having me destroy my cartridge was a fair request, all things considered, but like Mitchell said himself, this was most definitely an odd request, so obviously I was gonna have a little bit of fun with it and make a video, you know? I mean, if they really never did respond to me, I definitely would have been flustered, but now that they finally gave me my download code, it's water under the bridge as far as I'm concerned, and I got nothing to complain about whatsoever. But just to be sure, I'd better make sure my digital version actually works. Okay, thank God, the old save data loaded up no problem and the game doesn't freeze anymore. To be honest, I was a little worried that the game would still somehow be frigged, but thankfully we're all good. So I guess all that's really left to do is thank my new friend Mitchell, and then I'll finally be able to close this chapter of my life out once and for all. Thank you so much for your help, Mitchell. The code worked and I was finally able to finish the game. I'm pretty sure they saw the video.
I'm pretty sure they saw the video.
However, I couldn't help but wonder if you'd noticed my electronic back scratcher in one of the photos. It often gets mistaken for something silly and inappropriate. If so, then let me just say that it's not mine, and even if it was, I don't use it for the same purpose as a lot of other people do, regardless of what my ex-wife Chili might have told the tabloids. Anyway, thanks again for making everything right. Sincerely, Cameron. So there you have it, a happy ending thanks to Atlus West, and of course my good friend Mitchell. That's all for today, though. If you liked this video, then you might like my video about why no one bought Persona Q2 for the 3DS, but if you'll excuse me, I gotta go take my dad to t-ball practice. See you later, Crocodile.
So I want to say thank you for your loyalty, thank you for your support.